All right, guys, just a real quick video to go with my write-up for this new product from Vevor. I've been working with them for about 2 months now. Full disclosure, they did send me this feeder, but if they weren't willing to, I'd have bought it. At the price it's at, it's pretty damn good value. It's made out of stainless steel, and it's a 50-pound hanging chicken feeder. This one's really more a duck feeder than a chicken feeder because I got way more ducks than chickens. But it's going to make our lives a little easier. We've been feeding our birds out of these pans like this since this particular flock. They've never eaten out of anything but a pan. And you know, this time of year we end up with that stupid table sitting out here just to keep the food dry. And my granddaughter has to fill these every day. I told her we're going to come up with a new chore for her because she can't get paid for 5 days a week, only working 1. We're not Democrats around here, you know. And so we're going to have to come up with some other chores for her to do. But once a week now, she's going to fill this feeder for us. Again, the reason we left those pans there is until the ducks realize that their food is in there and start using it, they're going to be gravitating to these pans. It's pretty simple. It's basically a stainless steel box riveted together. It's got a real easy mounting system. It's just a couple screws and a little slip so that you can mark it, and then you can slide it over so you can remove it for cleaning or anything like that without having to take any screws out of it. Just lift up and off. It's got a nice cover, keeps everything dry. I would say there's only at any given time maybe 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of food down here in the dispenser. The rest of it stays up in the cavity. So that's the maximum amount of pellet that could get wet at any given time. And you know, that's great because even if we do get some wet, we just clean it out and we're back in business without losing a lot of valuable feed. I use a feed that's made of a mix. How you doing, Lulu? Lucy's coming to see. That's not for you. You stay out of there. It's for ducks. A mix of sorghum and peanut meal to avoid soy, and that way I have a non-GMO feed. We have this custom mix by a place called Tony Seton Feed. It's actually cost me less than buying it at the feed store, but the flock size I have, you know, there's a lot of value in this feed, and I don't like when it goes bad on me. So that should help with that. And otherwise, there's not much to it. Again, you open it up, you fill the back side of it, and it takes care of itself from there. I've got some more stuff coming from Vevor. I've got an automatic door for the coop, and that just reminds me what I wanted to tell you about. Why is this feeder here on this line pole, you know, this telephone pole, electrical power pole, instead of over there behind my pool, over there by the coop? I do not like feeding my birds where they sleep. I like it separated. You know, this is a good 100, probably close to 7,500 yards away. Also, if you notice that there ain't a lot of places to hide here. You know what likes to eat birds' food? Rats. Between the dogs and the cats, any rat that comes hopping out in the open across these fields is highly likely to get picked off. And that way we're not actually cultivating rodents. We're getting any farm situation, any place out in the country, you're gonna have some rodents around. The cats and dogs do a good job. We don't have many, but there are some here. But if you give them a place where they have an endless supply of food and shelter and water, then you are gonna cultivate rats. I don't wanna do that, cotton or region or otherwise. I don't need to be cultivating mice or rats. So this was the simplest change that I made. You can say whatever you want about a rat-proof feeder where they gotta step on it and all. Ducks freak out about stuff like that. And when you have ducks and chickens, food gets scattered around. This is what I found to be the #1 way to handle things. During the day, they're not big on coming out here anyway, and the dogs are out a lot. At night, the cats know to set up shop on places like this and do their hunting. So that's really taken care of. The only bit of rat problem we had. The other thing I want to say, if you look, I got a piece of scrap 2x8, I guess there, and a piece of scrap 2x4 nailed to this pole because this is made to mount to something flat. So if you're not going to mount it to the side of a coop or something like that, then you're going to need to think about that. But it's really no big deal. I think all in, it took me, you know, 5 minutes once I decided where I wanted to put it to set this up. The other thing I did is this is facing north, And I did that for a couple reasons. One, it keeps the sun off of it because the sun's always on that side until very late in the summer. Our sun will be over there and hit it from the side a little bit at the end of the day. But the other thing is our primary winds from storm activity are going to be this way and this way. So we get winds this way, and that means during a rain event we're going to get a lot less blow in to that stuff on the bottom. Anyway, check out the write-up on this thing, and they do make them in multiple sizes. I think this is the biggest one they make, which is 50 pounds. This will feed my birds with free choice for a full week at a shot. If you have a smaller flock, you may not want to have that much out at one time. You can get smaller feeders. I think they make them down to about 10 pounds. But anyway, the write-up, I'll put links to all of the options for you. But definitely, you know, check out Vevor. Remember, use my link and go to my write-up, because anything you buy from Vevor with my code that I have with them, you can get an additional 5% off.